Okay, b'siyata d'shmaya. To bear with me in my voice. Feeling a little under the weather. We were discussing last time the importance of enjoying and taking pride, taking pleasure in your service of Hashem, and realizing that even the klipa, the other side, the evil side, it has in it a connection to Hashem as well. We wouldn't be able to exist without Hashem. And deeply, when we really think that we want to do sins or we want to indulge in forbidden pleasures, it's not really the pleasure itself that we want, is the godliness and delight of Hashem that Hashem instilled in that item that made it appealing. So deep down we truly just want the Kadosh Baruch Hu, a part of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. The first entry that we have to discuss in the whole Sefer, he begins with Avat Yisrael. Love for every Jew. Love for every Jew is critical. Thank you so much. It's critical for every Jew to have as a fundamental part of his Judaism. You cannot be a Jew without Avat Yisrael. As Rabbi Akiva said, "Afterecha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah." Loving your neighbor like you love yourself. It sums up the whole Torah in one rule. So he says, but we all want to fulfill this mitzvah. It's very difficult. Okay, fine. To love every Jew, maybe it's possible. To love every Jew like you love yourself? What if I don't know him? How could I love somebody I just met 2 minutes ago? I just walked into a room. I walked into shul. I met a new Jew that I never met before in my life. On him I'm commanded, after chakamoch, love him like you love anybody, like you love yourself. I barely love my family members like I love myself. How could I love the stranger that I just met, love him like myself? So therefore, at the same time, we know that Hashem never gave the Torah to angels. Hashem doesn't expect of us things that are preposterous or beyond our reach. Hashem doesn't put us on a test we can't pass. Hashem doesn't say, I'm going to command you in a mitzvah that I know you can't do. That way I could laugh at you and made you, see, I got you, I made you fall. I knew you couldn't do it. See, Satan, you were right. See, we got him. Hashem doesn't give us mitzvah like that. He knows every mitzvah He gives us, He knows we could do it. So how could Hashem command us love every Jew like we love ourselves? So he says that the way to come to the conclusion to love every Jew is you have to focus on primiut. You have to focus on the inner essence. And what are you going to do? Once you see a Jew, don't look at him on the outside. It's very easy to judge by the cover today. Person wearing certain brand names, person comes from certain descent, Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Israel, America. Person comes from certain, dress style, looks very orthodox, doesn't look so orthodox. Very easy to judge by the cover. He looks put together, he doesn't look put together. Like this, you won't be able to do Avat Yisrael really. How are you going to do it? You have to do, you have to gotta look in the innerness of the Jew, the essence of the Jew, nishmato, on his soul. And you have to realize chelek eloka mimal, that he has a portion of Hashem inside of him. And therefore, you'll think through this, that I have to love him, because if I love Hashem, how could I not love Hashem's kids? And how could I not realize that there's another portion of Hashem inside of this person as well? And we have to realize, why did Hashem create us? Hashem made everything in this world, akol bara lichvodo. Hashem made everything in this world for it to reveal His greatness and His kavod. And therefore what? If Hashem created another person, sometimes you see these people, You think, what is the point of this person? Why would God create such a person? What is he good for already? What is he here to do? Well, seemingly maybe he's a waste of a person. What he just goes through all these difficulties, and he has this type of personality, and he has the this lacking and that lacking. Sometimes there's a mitzvah to be an elitist. If you get good grades, and you're a smart guy, you're a put together guy, and you get married at the right age, 21, 20, you got a job right away, you're wealthy, you have a big family last name, famous last name. That type of guy I understand. This guy's going to be successful, makes sense. This kind of guy I respect. But this guy come from no name family, had a very hard life, doesn't have a lot of money. He got a little bit married a little bit later. He's a little rough around the edges, doesn't have a perfect midot. He has a little bit of a personality issue. What would be the purpose of such a person? Why would I want to respect him? So he says you have to realize Hashem created him also. And everything Hashem created is for the Gilui or Hashem Yitbarach. It's for the revelation of Hashem's light. And only He can reveal this light of Hashem in the world. Only He can do this mission. Nobody else in the world. And when you want to connect to this, and you want to love this person, you have to think about, if I help this person and I love this person, I'm going to help him fulfill his mission to revealing Hashem's light that He has inside him that only He can reveal. Can you imagine? You have an ability to open up, unlock a door, that if you don't open this door, nobody will know what's inside, nobody will reveal that treasure, nobody will be able to tap into that hidden treasure behind that door. And this guy is the only guy who has the key. This guy, if you give him love and help, and you say, I don't know you, but all I know is you have a key to open some door that nobody else in the world could, and whatever I need to do to help you open that door, I'll do it. Because I know you're the only person in the world who could do it. So therefore, that's the mentality we should be thinking when you see another Jew after a Chakamocha. And therefore, if you be superficial, and you think only about, is he part of this group? Is he Sephardic? Is he Ashkenazi? Is he part of this shul, that shul? Is he live in New York? Does he live in Florida? Is he pro Kamala Harris? Is he pro Trump? Whatever. All these groups and divisions that the world makes, that's not going to get you after Chakamocha. You have to do Pnimiyut. You have to do the innerness. And all the difficulty of after Chakamocha is only when you look in Chitzoniyut, when you look on the outside. Once you start doing Pnimiyut, it's very easy. How do you explain a Chabadnik who lives in Arkansas, who lives in Louisiana, who lives in Tampa, Orlando? He sees a guy, he goes and he's going to a gas station. He sees a guy who says maybe he's Jewish, maybe he's not. He said, listen, you Jewish? You want some matzah for Pesach? It's right before Pesach. He says, you know what? Yeah, I want some matzah. He says, you should know, Rabbi, if you didn't ask me if I want a matzah for Pesach, you know what happened? What would have happened? He says, I had married a Goya. The guy says, the Jewish guy says, he says, and their family is bothering me, saying how I have to go and go to church with them, and they're telling me I have to, and I know I'm a Jew, and I didn't give in, and eventually I was so fed up. I said, you know what, God, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I'm falling in my faith. That's it, and I need a sign. If you're gonna send me a sign for you're thinking about me, you want me, and I'm doing the right thing, send me a sign, and I won't go. And I came to the gas station. This Chabadnik came over to me. He says, do you want some matzah for Pesach? And I felt this was my sign. And he tells this to the rabbi. And what? Why would a rabbi go over to a guy who doesn't even know anything about, and he doesn't even have any connection to him, and say, you're a Jew, I want to give you some matzah for Pesach? That's the power of the Chakamocha, and he saved him. He saved him from, who knows, becoming Avodah Zarah the rest of his life. Who knows? But the point is that, where does that come from? It comes from because that Chabad rabbi didn't see him as Oh, does he look like me? Does he wear a hat like me? Does he have a beard like me? Is he religious like me? He doesn't. Does he know who the Rebbe is? No, he doesn't ask all those questions. He's a Jew. Boom, I love him. Why? Because he has a door only he can unlock. He has a certain godliness of Hashem inside of him, a certain godly mission inside of him that only he can accomplish. I have to help him accomplish it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how far along the way he is. I don't know how convoluted and confusing it may be. Only Hashem knows. All I know is, if there is a godliness that he has to reveal, I'm there to help him reveal it. He says, so tchila, number one, is we have to realize we're neshama ahat. We're all one soul. The Midrash says, when Jews hurt each other, it's like when you're cutting cucumbers and your left hand, your right hand is slicing and your left hand is holding the cucumber, you slice your left hand. So what does the left hand do? The left hand takes the knife and starts stabbing the right hand. Doesn't make any sense. Makes absolutely no sense. We're all the same team here. What do you mean? It was a mistake. Whoa, what do you mean? I'll show you who's boss. We have to realize we're all neshama ahat. One, maybe the right hand is more clumsy, or the left hand's more clumsy. One's more knowledgeable, one's more skilled, one's more trained than the other. But it doesn't mean we're essentially against each other. We're not enemies. We're all one. Imagine two brothers. They got separated at birth. One lives in California, one lives in New York, all their life. They grow up and they meet each other later in life. Just because we're separated, we never grew up together, that means we're not brothers? No, we're brothers. What do you mean? Once you're my brother, and you know you're my brother, you should be number one there for me. If I'm in the hospital, you should be there for me. If I'm in a time of need, you should be there for me. King Solomon says, Ach letzara yulad. A brother is there for a time of suffering, a time of trouble, a time of need. That's why Hashem could have made us like Adam Rishon, just sprout out of the ground like a flower, and that's it. No parents, no brothers, no sister, no cousins, no nothing, and that's it. We're just sprout out of the ground, and no flowers related to any other flower, and that's it. No parents. But Hashem didn't make us like that. He made it that you give birth, you have siblings, and you have parents, and you have cousins, and you have family, and the Jewish people are all one family, all brothers. We have to remember that, and therefore there can never be an understanding that I have to be against this person, my team versus their team, my shul versus their shul, Ashkenazim versus Sephardim, Israelis versus not Israelis, this type of Jew versus that type of Jew. There's never room for such a thing. And if there is, there's some confusion and misunderstanding, because it cannot be that family members are against each other and they forgot that fact. What do you want to say?
Was created like that.
What?
Was created like that.
Yeah. Hashem could have made us like that also, every generation. But he didn't.
But Hashem made him like that also. I mean, that's...
Right. Like that for a reason, right? So therefore, whenever you have a difficulty loving another Jew, you think he's separate from you. Imagine you have a watch, you have a car. You say, oh, the muffler, I don't like the muffler, it makes so much noise. Rip it out. All right? Or he thinks, huh? Yeah, please. And if a person, let's say he has the window or the mirror, some mirror bothers him. So he starts throwing out some parts of the engine, rattling, making noise. He throws it out. Doesn't like it. Yeah, obviously he's going to see the issues later. He's going to see how his car's not going to perform properly. Every single Jew is another piece of Am Yisrael. 600,000 root souls, 600,000, right? Obviously, they're all letters in the Torah. They're all poor. Without one, the whole Torah is pasul. The point being, we may not see the purpose in another Jew, but the Pirkei Avot says clearly, every Jew has his place, has his time. Famous mashal, the lion got woken up by the mouse, and the mouse apologized, and he said, "I can eat right now. Why should I save you? What are you good for?" And he said, "No, listen, I also have skills. I also am good for something." And you're not good for nothing. He says, "You know what? I'll have mercy on you. and I'll let you go, but I totally disrespect you, and I'm the king of all animals. You have nothing to give me. You have nothing to offer me. And later that day, because he spared him, the lion got caught in a net, and the mouse found him later. And he says, listen, you saved my life. You made me mad how you talked to me, but you saved my life, so I'll come save your life. And he chewed him out of the net, and he saved the lion. Ended up being that we never know what a person's place and purpose and time will be to shine. And we have to help each Jew as much as we can get to that place where he will shine. Eventually, if every Jew succeeds, because other Jews help him, he will shine. And in the Bizchut, after Kamocha, Jews will shine. We can't do these things alone. Hashem made us so many different Jews. He didn't just make Avram Avinu one Jew. You save the world, you do the mitzvah, nobody else. Hashem wanted millions of Jews in the world in order that they should be together in numbers and help each other shine, and that light, that each one of them has a different aspect to reveal of God's greatness. Yeah.
So I know that there's some certain Jews that are extremely like evil, bad people, especially like in politics. Do we have the mitzvah of loving them like a fellow Jew as well? Or at least viewing them as someone who has the potential to change?
So we have a mitzvah in the Torah to rebuke another Jew who we see doing a sin. There's even when we have a mitzvah to hate some Jews, it's only hating their actions, not hating the person. Deep down, we wish every Jew to do teshuvah, and we don't wish for their total destruction. We wish for their repair and redemption. There is a concept of Erev Rav, which are reincarnated souls from those who Moses took with him from Egypt. There are these Egyptians that converted, but they weren't sincere. Ended up being they were just jumping on the bandwagon, and they represent this concept of Jews who are not full-heartedly connected, rather they have malicious intent, and they represent certain people you stay away from. You don't learn from them. You disassociate yourself from them. But nowhere do we have obligation to destroy certain Jews or wage war against Jews. We only have obligation to stop people from their ugly acts and from gaining support. We don't. In the time of Bedin, Sanhedrin, okay, they used to give the capital punishment to sinners who had witnesses. But even then, the Mishnah Makot says that Sanhedrin that killed once every 70 years, was considered a bloody Bedin. Oh, thank you. I was like, Baruch.
Have a good night.
You too. You read what it says. What does the order say? What time?
10:35 a.m.
Huh?
10:35 a.m.
I don't know what it says. 8:30 at the top. 8:30. What does it say? 8:30 in the pen. Oh, okay. It's for the other room. Okay, fine. Okay, it's fine. You just leave it. They'll get it after. Says that's fine. But the point is, even Sanhedrin, they would kill once in 70 years. The Gemara says they would call it bloody. What does it mean they would call it bloody? It means that usually the rabbis would try to get out of it, would try to ask questions to the witnesses in order to mess them up, in order to make it that they shouldn't be able to give a full testimony. They should become pasul, and they shouldn't be able to, get the guy convicted. So you see that even we're talking about evil people who maybe potentially committed murder, we try to get out of it, and we try not to kill the person because Hashem doesn't want to see the sinners die. He wants them to be redeemed and to change their ways. But obviously the actions is what we despise. Okay, so therefore he says, number one, you have to pray. You have to pray to Hashem. You have to ask him, Hashem, please give me Ahavat Yisrael. I want to be able to love another Jew, and not always will you have the patience for it and the right mentality. You will learn these things that we're learning now, and sometimes it'll just slip your mind, and you won't be able to remember these things. So you have to pray for it, that you should remember these things all the time. And then you should go and sit a few minutes a day and think about these ideas that we just spoke. You stare at another Jew. Sometimes you sit outside. People like to do people watching. People like to see other people, how they behave, how they act. Look what they're doing. Look what he's doing. Look how they talk. Look how he's dressed. Sometimes people do this to people in shul all the time. So when you're doing that, he says, you should sit and be mitbonen, contemplate how the Jewish people are so great and how so many different flavors of Jewish people and how each one represents their own mission, their own godliness they have to reveal in the world. And I have an obligation to help every single one of those people reveal that godliness in the world. Sit and contemplate this thought when you're people watching, when you're Jewish people watching your shul, which everybody does automatically.
Rabbi, how do you have Achavat Israel to someone who really wronged you in the past?
So I always say the famous mashal of the mailman who brings you the bill from IRS. So you go and you open it and you see thousands of dollars and you go and you punch out the mailman. Doesn't make any sense. I'm just a messenger. Same thing with any type of situation you had with a Jew. If he did something bad to you, or any person, anything that did something bad to you, they're just a messenger. You could ask, the Rambam asks, why did God punish Paro? Hashem needed a bad guy in Passover story. So if Paro could have said to Hashem, you needed Paro in the story. So I was the Paro. I did your mission. I did your will. So why should I get punished? The Rambam says, Hashem tells him, I didn't need specifically you. There was many Paros. Why did you allow yourself to become that Paro? From the fact you allowed yourself to become radicalized and to come up with this idea and let yourself take that role. That's why I'm punishing him. So obviously the messenger was specific. Why this messenger out of different messengers? There's some, fault that he's at, that why he was chosen to be the messenger. But ultimately, he could have not done anything bad to you if Hashem didn't want it to happen.
So that is a reason. Because like you could say he didn't have to do it, somebody else could have done it.
Yes.
So wouldn't that justify being upset at him because he could have not done it? Could have been someone else?
That could justify being upset at him, but not upset how people usually get upset at him. Meaning, people usually blame him fully, right? And his problem and his fault with Hashem has nothing to do with you per se. You understand? He didn't give tzedakah. I don't know, or he spoke lashon hara, or he ate something he wasn't supposed to eat yesterday. So today Hashem made it that he was bicycling and he ran into some Jew on the street and gave him a broken arm. So the guy who got a broken arm could say, this cyclist, look at him. Why did Hashem make him the messenger to break my arm more than anybody else? That's why I hate him. No. You have to realize it would have been somebody else. You had to break your arm for whatever reason. God wanted it to happen. Would have been someone else. Okay, so he ate something non-kosher yesterday, or he beat up somebody the other day, with his arm. So now Hashem made it that he's the bearer of bad news and he has to break someone else's arm and he has to live with that.
That's more like by chance. I'm saying like somebody specifically on purpose knows what they're going to do is going to hurt you and they do it anyways.
So again, I'm telling you that Hashem doesn't allow nobody to touch a hair on your head until you deserve it. So this person, no matter what he wants to do, at the end of the day, it's Hashem's doing. It's not called his doing, it's called Hashem's doing. So, okay, fine. The intent, we could say he has bad intent. Definitely. We don't say, well, the murderer killed this guy, but if Hashem didn't want this guy to die, so this guy wouldn't be able to murder, so therefore even when he murders, it's not his fault, it's Hashem. So therefore he goes home free. No. We know he commits murder, he gets the consequences of committing murder. But with you blaming who ultimately, who's to blame? Hashem. And therefore I'm blaming Hashem, it's Hashem's fault? No. Blaming Hashem means Hashem did it, and therefore Hashem's just, and therefore really I should blame myself because I deserve this. This is what Hashem sent me because I deserved it. As opposed to blaming somebody else. What do people do all the time? They blame another person. I'm right, that person's wrong. It's when you blame Hashem, then you automatically blame yourself because you say, Hashem must be right, I must be wrong, so I must have done something wrong. It's so easy just to blame a person, forget Hashem, blame a person, and say, I didn't do anything wrong, everything's that guy did everything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And then you get blinded and you never work on yourself. So that's why it's very important to remember everything comes from Hashem. He says, finally, you have to constantly, like we said before, pray, contemplate these thoughts, and remember to not look at things superficially. Look at things for their innerness.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So how does a person make that differentiation where a person, let's say, hurts him, and he has to hate the action and not the person? 'Cause it's very easy to get mixed up. And even if the person completely thinks that he hates his action, he might very well may be that he actually hates the person.
So when you hate the action, you can do whatever you can to stop the person from doing it, or influencing from stopping doing it. If you hate a person, so even if he stops doing it, you'll continue to hate him. You continue to see. You wish to cease his existence.
Okay, but I'm saying you won't know you actually
Again.
hate him until he stops. So how do you make it in the middle whenever he's doing all that stuff?
So, again, we wish to get him to a point where he doesn't do this anymore. Until then, will I show him I'm upset? Maybe I will. But what kind of upset? Upset, you know what kind of chinuch upset means? Chinuch upset means when the father gets angry with his son. Is a father allowed to get angry with his son? Like really angry? No, never. All the Baalei Musar explain, when a father sees his son do something disappointing, his son lied. His son took back a toy that his father punished him for taking it away. Whatever his son disrespected and spoke back, what does the father do? He's allowed to get angry and get his blood boiling and yell from anger? No, he has to wait. The Baalei Musar used to go get a hat, a special jacket, until they calm down, and then they come and have pretend anger. They have a pretend temper, pretend upset, and then they act and they speak like they're angry. I'm very disappointed in you. Why did you do this? And deep down, he's not upset at all. He's doing it purely for the sake of his son. He should learn his lesson.
Does the child feel the difference?
Yes, definitely. You'll see, because a lot of times, the father who's doing it from real temper, real anger, you'll a lot of times go overboard and misreact or overreact. The punishment for the deed doesn't match, and he'll go overboard. And B, it's very easy to reconcile afterwards, right? When you want to reconcile afterwards, when the father wants to embrace the son afterwards, when he wants to show the son, I'm still here for you, I still love you, I'm still your father. It's much easier to do when it was a pretend anger, when it was a chinuch anger. But when it was a real anger, so then the father's still angry, and the son feels still distant, and the father is not going to be so easy to come over and say, oh, but I still love you at the end of the day, or I still want to be close to you at the end of the day. The father really got angry. His respect for his son lowered in his eyes, and they got distanced. They got more and more distance and more distance. As opposed to if it would be just chinuch, so he would do it for the sake of his son, and as long as he saw his son got the point, so he'll bring him back, and he'll bring him close again, and he'll say, I reprimanded you because I was upset at you, how you behaved, but deep down I want to be close to you, and I know you could be better, and I know you could be the person I imagine. So this is the difference between the action versus the person. So it leads to your behavior will be different depending on if you hate the person or hate the action. Hating the action is going to lead to a lot more productivity and positive outcomes. Hating the person is negativity. It just leads to negative outcomes. And is it easy to get blinded to? Yes. That's why we said so many times, your L'Shem Shamayim has to be L'Shem Shamayim. Kotzker Rebbe said that even when you do a mitzvah, let's say you're doing a mitzvah of I don't know, there was a big discussion with people who were going against the Torah in the name of religion. They were religious, but not following the Torah, right? All these perversions of what the Torah says, woman, I don't know, doing things they're not supposed to be doing. Yeah, whatever, these movements that many people do. And when we have to go against them, stand up for the Torah, it's very easy for the Yitzhar to sneak in there and to make us start really hating them. Or for this very hot topic in Israel, going to the army, not going to the army, and all these things. It's very easy to start hating the players and not hating the game. It's very easy to start hating secular Jews and instead of hating the requirement to go to the army. And many people convolute the two. And it's very sad because there's not supposed to be any hatred between any two Jews. It's supposed to be, okay, we argue about something. I don't like your position. You don't like my position. But it has nothing to do with if I hate you or not. So a person has to know hating the person versus hating the action is a tremendous, tremendous difference. So therefore he says, הנה האדם ניצב בתוך העולם הזה, שבו נראה כל איש כמציאות נפרדת. And the hardest part about Israel is it's so easy to forget and to think they're all disconnected. We all in our own little lives, we're on our own little corners, own little bubbles. I have my work, I have my house, I have my family. I don't need anybody else really. I have money, or I have kids, or I have a shul, or I have my small circle of friends. That's it. What do I need more than that? And we forget that we're all connected. And imagine there's many divisions to a company. Just because the advertising or the research department is doing well, there's still the other divisions. There's the finance division, there's the executive division, there's the front office, back office. There's many different divisions to a company. So just one is doing well doesn't mean the other one's succeeding. And if this one's suffering, everybody's suffering. And we have to start thinking and reminding ourselves all the time that Am Yisrael is not because of a certain amount of families, they have what they need, so Am Yisrael is pretty good. No. If we don't have everybody, and we don't have all Am Yisrael, we're no good. We're not there yet. What do people normally have to do? You build yourself, you build your kids, you build your shul. That's what Rabbi Israel Salanter said in the beginning. In the beginning, I want to fix my whole community, my whole country. He said it's too hard. So what did I do? I started the other way around. I started with myself. Then I started with my wife. Then I started with my kids. Then I started with my family. Then I started with my shul. Then I started with my city. And then I eventually got to my country. Everybody to know about Torah and Mitzvot. But he didn't just fix himself and his kids and his wife and it's it. I'm done. I put up my hat to retire and I just enjoy my life. No. The rest of Am Yisrael is suffering. They don't know about life. They're poor in knowledge, poor in mentality, poor in choices. I have to wake them up. I have to do something about it. Their problem is my problem. Why? Because I work for the company of Hashem. And if the company of Hashem, one division is suffering, all the divisions are suffering. And if I really want to do a good job, and I have extra time, because my division doesn't have so much work, why shouldn't I go and help the other division if I have time, if I really care about this company, if I really care about Hashem? So from the fact that I'm not motivated to help them, that means that I'm lacking in Avat Yisrael. Imagine somebody comes to you and says, listen, in Florida right now, they're opening a kollel, they're opening a shul, they're raising this amount of money. Can you help them? Can you give something? Can you come, fly there, see it, come back, talk to your community members about it, make awareness, tell them to give something. A guy who says, listen, what do I need this for? I have my own shul, I give them my tzedakah. What do I need to go all the way to Florida? It's not my community, leave me alone. I have enough headache already. What do you want to bother me with? That person's lacking Avat Yisrael. But a person who says, listen, there's Jews over there who have missions, and there's godliness that needs to be revealed over there. And those Jews will be lacking if they don't have that there. And that's part of my company also. We're all servants of Hashem. Hashem's kids is over there also. My kids, I care about them here. Hashem's kids is also over there. Why I should care about them also? It's my business. It's my business to go and to see to it that they have what they need as well. And therefore what? If he has that kind of Avat Yisrael, and then he's going to be able to go and make a donation. He's going to make awareness. He's going to push himself. But if a person's lacking, he said, leave me alone. What is my business? It's not my community. I never lived there. I never spoke to anybody there. I have nothing to do with them. Chas v'shalom.
Isn't there a concept that you should help people that you're close with first before giving to them? First means first. But
Eventually. But if you have ability to help them, yeah. But it doesn't mean you say write them off and say no. What do you say? But a person has to know it's a priority. It's a priority. People who are big philanthropists, who are big Jewish Baalei Tzedakah, what do? They give money and they may see to it. Do they live next to those people? Do they know the people they're giving it to? No. But why are they giving it? Because I know this is another son of Hashem, and I have an obligation to help. If Hashem put me in this position that I can help, that means I have to help. And if I don't, that means I'm wasting the opportunity Hashem gave me, and I'm lacking Ahavat Yisrael. We should zocheh to pray for this, to contemplate for this, and all Am Yisrael now with Trump should be able to be united and have a real Ahavat Yisrael and no more anti-Semitism. B'ezrat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.